All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Andrew from Profit Zombies is going to be sharing some new technology and tools that you guys can implement into your guys' practice soon, starting today. So he's going to go ahead and give you a breakdown of what's going on. We have had Andrew here prior, so we know that he's going to come with a wealth of knowledge. And Andrew, go ahead. You could go ahead and kind of kick us off and take it away.
For sure. Yeah. So first off, thanks. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you guys. It's great to meet you all virtually through Zoom, as weird as that sounds. I've been taking phone calls and doing these phone calls for I'm 29 now, since I was about 17. And it never gets any less awkward by saying that. But anyway, the piece today, and the piece that I had mentioned in a previous conversation that I had with the Dojo team, is obviously everyone's tried to get leads in. I know you guys have the IV therapy line that a lot of offices seem to be picking up. And transparently, we have clients that do this not only for one specific service, but for a wide range of services. So, for example, an office that Natasha's team plugged us in with actually runs 5 different services, all in unison. And the way it works is we are essentially trying to consolidate all inbound leads that we have, pre-qualify those leads, and then output on the back end sales tips and resources for your team in real time, specific to the patient's conversation or the client's conversation with our system, to help making the sale easier, making sure that your lead is pre-qualified, getting a full summary of the conversation, and transparently automate the entire booking process. So just to give an overview, I don't know how much pre-frame you guys have had on this. And maybe Natasha, maybe if you want to jump in and give a little context on what everybody knows versus what everybody doesn't know. I'm going to treat everybody like they don't know anything, if that's cool. So
yeah, absolutely. We were super excited to have you just go over this new technology, how it's helping, especially in the IV realm, but how it can help in other realms as well. So Definitely. Take the floor and speak as if nobody knows anything yet.
Lovely. Okay, so everybody's run Facebook ads, right? Everybody's run some type of ad where they get a lead, and then the leads are impossible to contact. And then maybe you talk to them and then they ghost you, right? And then they finally book an appointment and then maybe they no-show, right? All of this comes down to low intent leads. And low intent leads are not a bad lead. They're just not as engaged as we would love them to be. The biggest problem that we have for all of our clients is it's very easy to get leads now, but the conversion rate from lead to an actual sale or a booked appointment is horrendous. Solutions currently right now that people use, obviously, are call centers. The problem with the call center, transparently, is that you're going to have one person that really doesn't know all the intricate details about your office, and they have 7 different clients. So when they ask for the address, if you're on the phone with someone, you should know what the address of the business that you're representing is. Unfortunately, in a call center scenario, that just doesn't happen, right? So what we're getting is we're getting a lot of offices, and like I said, very recently is the IV therapy, since a lot of you guys are doing IV things now, IV service lines now. The way it works is simple. A lot of offices are able to get a ton of leads, whether it's through my team for marketing or a different company for marketing. And what happens is we consolidate all of the inbound leads that you guys are getting into one platform. You guys have used High Level before. We use a highly modified version of High Level, so it's nothing that's totally out of the box new. And there are some companies out there that have built out their own little automated sequences where it drips a patient a message, and then if the patient responds, then we send this or we send that. And it kind of functions like a FAQ robot, right? Similar to a bad chat on a website. What we've been able to do is we've built a full custom robot. I probably couldn't even build again if I tried, to be honest. It's had over 3 million conversations with patients over the past, all of 2024. It had 3 million conversations with about 9 million messages going back and forth to patients across the country. And that's actually very heavily stacked toward the end of the year. We're getting a lot of traction because of how phenomenal the results are. So what we did in the past is we had it set up where it would have a full-fledged conversation. It would pre-qualify. It would ask questions, but transparently, looking back on it, the conversation was about a 7 out of 10. and this is like a weird way to explain this, but imagine it takes you 1 tank of gas to get to point A, from point A to point B. We've now multiplied the amount of effort and energy that's required to get them from point A to point B by about 50 times. So the complexity of the conversations as far as lead pre-qualification, not only can we require custom questions now, so like for IV specifically, you can get whatever information you need from the patient before they even request an appointment. If they do not qualify or they do not fit, they're instantly disqualified, or they can be put into a different pile of people that you may want to follow up with in a different manner. Or we can even have our system modify how we're following up with them to fit your office's needs. The coolest part about this is the messages look so real, you would never know they're not real. I have a demo that I can show you. However, you lose that sense of realness because I have to sit there and I have to text it. So what we're actually going to set up is a like a demo that all of you can play with for later today. So we'll have a link for anyone that attends that we can send out, and you can just go through and talk to the robot, and it will treat you like a patient that's coming in for IV specifically.
That's so awesome. I just want to share personally, we ran through this, what was it, last week or the week before?
Yeah.
When I was texting back and forth with the AI, and it sounds exactly as if it was just a regular team member.
Yeah.
So how would we get everybody to be able to participate and go through a live demo on that?
So honestly, the easiest way to do it, I mean, I have something that I can show you right now. The tough thing is once again, you do lose that sense of realness, Natasha. I know you can kind of see through it, right? But I can show you one for, well, I could show you one. Hang on, let me see. Let me see if I can't pull this up.
Are you able to pull up the conversation that I had?
Oh yeah, 100%. That's what I was gonna pull up.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I don't know if you need anybody's email or phone number or something like that.
So the way it will work, I'll send a link out so that you guys can just play around. Once again, it's supposed to be conversational. It's supposed to be texting. And the big piece to it is that the way our system works, let's say you have a list of 1,000 people, or let's say you have new leads coming in all the time. All you need to do is send out the first message. Once someone responds, to be compliant, once someone responds, our system can handle them fully automatically. So if they message us back and forth and then they ghost us, it will automatically re-engage them. You never even have to touch them. And it remembers everything about that person for the entire conversation, top to bottom. So at the end of that conversation, it will output everything that you've spoken about, objections that were brought up, points of concern, everything like that. So let me just pull this up here. And let me just grab this. Give me 1 second. So I actually have a link where you can put your own custom office information, and everyone's able to just fill their info out. That's how I have it set up, because each office is going to have a little bit of a different setup. So what you guys will be able to do, let me just grab this link. I'll just send you the demo link. This is too complicated. We're just going to make this nice and easy. I'm going to hit preview on this, and then I'm going to run you through this, and then I'll send the link out to everybody, and everybody can do this on their own, because everybody's going to have their own questions, right? So the way it works is simple. Let me hit share screen. Share window. And share this window. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Can you see it? Okay. So this is we call it a ghost form on our end. It's an internal form that we use. There's a lot of different things here, okay? In order to give you the best demo humanly possible, this actually will, in real time, create a real chatbot specific to your office with your information so that you can see what it would be like. So it's going to ask you for about 20 different questions and answers, okay? When you fill out your information on here, so like I can go in here, Let me just try and rapid fill some of this stuff out. You can even customize the robot name. You'll put your office name, Andrew's office. And you would put your cell phone number up here, obviously. So the nice thing is when a lead fills out their information, all of this information is already filled out for you. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it into Regen Med because that's how I have it categorized on my end, even though I know it's IV. And then it would be like the new patient. What's the typical promotion that you guys run online for IV therapy patients? Is there a promotion like that people typically advertise?
Some of the people are advertising, are you dealing with post-COVID nutritional deficiencies, chronic fatigue syndrome?
Gotcha. And then
Yeah.
what's the price point?
For the IVs?
Like the initial, like you bring them in for a consult, I would assume, right?
Yeah. Usually it's a complimentary consult because all of the
Okay.
IVs are covered by insurance.
Gotcha. And then what, on their day one, what's typically included in that?
Just a consult, and then some offices will do blood work to check for nutritional deficiencies.
So, and then maybe an initial IV treatment?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And then office hours, right? So all of these values, when you go in and fill it out on your end, oh, sorry, I'm like double screen casting. I'm like trying to look at myself talk to make sure you guys can see me. But so the way it would work is you would go in here and fill out all of your office info. Okay. You fill out exactly what your offer is. And then this will give you a Monday through Friday. It will give you a real-time demo. So when I hit submit, what it's going to do, and everyone's seen high level before, right? What it's going to do is it's going to create a new contact here. And this new contact loaded into the system is going to automatically start having this entire conversation. So I'm just going to delete my old contact. So the way it would work is it's going to send an outbound message. So it's going to say, hey, this is Andrew's office. And this is not anything outside of the normal setup. Now, once again, I do have this set up for a demo. So I have it set where the responses are substantially faster, but it's helping us now claim the free IV therapy new patient package. Okay. So if I send a message, does anybody have a question that I could send this thing? I could say, you know, what's typically included in the offer for IV. I can send a text in. And once again, this is going to be delayed. And what our system does is it automatically moves them over. And then if at any time you ever want to disable the chatbot, we can disable it until tomorrow morning, pause it for 24 hours, next Monday, or for 7 calendar days. So what it's going to do in real time is it's going to actually grab this info and it will actually output a full response, and without giving you a super massive rundown on exactly how it happens, it takes all of the information that we have here, loads it in on the back end, and then runs it through an automation. So let me show you this. So you'll see that the message, while I was just chit-chatting, it actually already generated an entire response and it was sitting in a waiting step. So if I go back here, it says the free IV therapy includes an IV consultation, blood work to check for nutritional deficiencies, and an IV therapy treatment. It's a great way to kickstart your journey to feeling better. Are there any specific goals you're trying to achieve with the treatment? So it's not just going to send them a link to book an appointment. It's going to try and re-engage them. Now, the cool thing is, and this is a new update that we have, Natasha, that I didn't show you, but what will happen is if we don't respond for 40 minutes, it's going to actually pick a random day and a random time over the next 24 hours within legal texting hours. It's going to create a custom message to them. So let's say I go back and forth with this robot 10 or 15 times, and maybe I ask questions and it gives answers. What it will do is it will actually try and re-engage. It'll read the entire conversation, re-engage with the lead, and then send a booking link. And then once again, once they book, it will give you that full output summary for exactly what the conversation was, covered, sales objections that they might, you might want to be aware of before they come in, whether they're, our system feels that they qualify or don't qualify. And then once again, like I said before, if they do qualify, we can send them a booking link. But if they don't qualify, they just get disqualified and they aren't ever actually sent the link to book. Does that make sense?
Yes. Does anybody have any questions right now? I think Dr. Matt, you had a question. Is the AI outside of Go High Level?
So yes, it is. So the way it works is our system sends that signal off and then it's brought back in. So High Level has their own little conversation AI, and just to show you, this has nothing in it. It's completely turned off. Okay, so the conversation AI that's typically built into High Level is very subpar. So the way it happens is your message comes in, it processes the message, and then it outputs it. Ours gets sent in, it gets sent through a 7-layer process where it will generate a message, then it layers over previous successful messages that have resulted in a higher booking rate for appointments. And then after that, it then modifies the message and can shorten that message down to where it's more appropriate and understandable for people that may not be as technically inclined from a scientific perspective if there's a technical question that they're asking. And then it will actually reprocess that message and then make sure that it's formatted in a way that looks conversational and real rather than just a normal output. So it is outside, yes. And it's High Level. The problem with High Level is it looks very robotic in how the messages are sent. And it typically is very difficult to have the robot engage someone in a way that actually gets them to respond rather than just, once again, kind of being a frequently asked questions robot.
Right. And the other question was, what are the pre-qualifying questions the bot asks and how does that work? And we could set that up depending on how that clinic or what are typical things, correct?
Yes. So the questions are full custom. So you tell me whatever questions. There's no limit to number of questions, and there's no rules around what questions. However, transparently, I would recommend 3 to 5 questions because everything else you're going to be getting on, like your intake forms, for example. However, what I will say, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen just to have you stop staring at my screen for a second. With the questions, let's say I ask a question about, I don't know, is the sun out today, right? If I say yes back to it, it's going to actually try and ask a question a different way to dig for a deeper answer more than just a yes, no. So depending on what questions, Natasha, what would be a really good question to ask somebody? Just as an idea.
Oh, for what insurance? Who's your current insurance carrier?
Sure. If they say, oh yeah, I have insurance, right? It would say, that sounds great. Once again, it would reiterate the question again to try and pull that answer. Once they give that answer, then it would move on. The other thing as well is it would be really stupid if they sent a message saying that they had whatever it was, United health insurance before. And then we said, oh yeah, what health insurance do you have? It will pull contextually from the conversation and say, I know before you said you have United. I'm going to go ahead and make a note of that on my system. Can you just confirm that that's correct once more for me? And it will double validate that information. And then in your summary that you'll get person had this question, this answer. They said they had United. They've had it for this long, whatever it is. If you already have GHL, can we connect the bot to it? It has to be run separately because we have to control when the bot turns on and when it turns off. However, if you do your booking through a Go High Level account, and you want that scheduling to be done through yours, we have a template set up already where it connects our system to your system directly. So all the text would send through ours. You get a separate login. It's very simple. But when they book, it would book onto yours so that it reads your schedule and everything like that.
Andrew, I wanted to really bring a point of how helpful this is to handle everything up until that person is scheduled, where you're eliminating a call center where it's one person can only do one call at a time, whereas this bot can do multiple messages for all of the leads, even on the weekends, things like that. So you're not missing any opportunities. And it's not just for IV, like what you and I spoke about, but other things. But I did like how you said, hey, we're starting this for IV. So I'm like, great.
We actually just launched another account this morning for IV. And it's fully off the ground and functioning. They loaded. So the cool thing is, and I don't necessarily encourage this, I always say if you're getting new patients in or new clients in for a certain service, for example, it does decompression, neuropathy, stem cell, or like more regen med. It does, we have offices that use it that are more med spas that do stuff like hydrofacials. We have offices that do it for Botox and for filler. We have offices that do it for GLP based products. We have offices that do natural weight loss products, body contouring, shock wave, sound wave therapy, acoustic wave therapy, PMF. There are offices that use it for like a device called a HOCAP, which I don't even know what that is, but apparently that's a thing. It literally can be done for any service that you have in your office. And what's cool is it all runs together at the same time. So when a lead comes in, it automatically assigns all of the values that we fill out for you, that we help you set up. And then the robot knows specifically which service that person came in for. Can you add leads versus the ads? So if you're saying you have leads that are currently existing, like that you've already generated, yes, 100% you can add your old leads in and bulk engage them. Just to give you an idea of scale of this, every single day we have a body contouring program that my team runs on a 100% performance basis. So it's very important that my team gets butts through the front door. And we have almost 1,000 offices that we work with on that. And our system sends out about 18,000 text messages, 18 to 20,000 text messages per day. And it manages all of the conversations, somewhere between 4,000 and 6,000 messages back and forth with leads per day, all autonomously with zero human interaction. And then we've generated 5,000 individual client sales in the past 90 days off of that, which is phenomenal, considering that we're literally getting people to pay for it.
That's huge. When you say, especially for booking and collecting money, what does that equate to revenue wise about per each office by having the AI do this?
Well, so we have two different systems actually, which is kind of cool. So we have the ability for an office to collect payment. And when they go to book, it will say, hey, you need to collect payment. And our robot responds differently when the office mandates that they must pay online, during that booking process. And then we also have one where they can just request a time. And then typically our system will send a message that says, hey, somebody from our team is going to reach out to you to confirm the appointment request. That way they can then take the summary that we give them and then have them hop on the phone and confirm that appointment for them and then collect the payment at that time. And once again, I've heard people when they do lead follow-up in the past, they say, oh, well, I get people on the phone and then they like lose their wallet and they never want to sign up for it. The problem is the conversation never progressed to a point where they're invested enough to want to pay. But now that we've had a full-fledged conversation, we know they're pre-qualified, we know that they're ready to go, they're much more willing to give their card information over the phone for that appointment request. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I haven't seen on the back end of that what it looks like. I've seen on my phone what the conversation looks like. Does it show on your end like communication like how it would be in a text message?
Yes, it does. You get full visibility to the entire conversation. However, I'm just lazy, so I like to give people a summary too.
Yeah. Is there a way that you can show the screen of what it looks like on your end? Because when I was interacting with the bot, you were seeing on my side the questions that I was asking it.
So this is literally the share. Sorry. These Google meetings hate me. Share screen. You're going to see my double screen here.
Yeah. My thing is about how do we help people make money, save money, and protect their money.
Yeah.
And this is just a great way to do that because
so we've all seen high levels chat before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Message in message out. You get to see the entire thing. So if I send a text coming in, can you send me the link to book, please? Right. I'm just going to be very straightforward with it. The text will pop through immediately on here, just like it would with any high level account once the message is received. And then whenever the message is received, it automatically starts generating that response for that person. So literally top to bottom, the entire conversation will work through here.
Okay.
Yeah. So exactly like as if you were manually texting, the only difference between the messages is anytime it's an automated response, it's going to be this gray little question mark icon. That's it.
Okay, very good.
Yep.
Well, let's open it up. Is there any other questions that y'all have? And feel free to unmute yourself. I love this technology. I think it's great. I think we can maximize how many contacts your office can have, minute by minute, hour by hour, and then at the end of each day. So that's really why I wanted Andrew to come on today. Go ahead, Bridget.
Hi. I don't know if I missed this part.
Yeah.
But, what Natasha said is also saving money. Obviously, we have a lot of different costs with different vendors already. So what would be the cost of this? And, what is that? Because obviously we'd still have ad campaigns with the other various vendors, but this would just be like the AI robot dealing with the leads. And so what would the cost look like?
Totally. Yeah. So the way pricing works is simple. It's $1,000 for 2 services, up to 2 services. And then any additional services are $250 a month for 50,000 messages.
2 services, you mean like 2 service lines, like decompression and neuropathy?
Yep, exactly. Or decompression and IV, or decompression and chiro-care, or decompression and soft wave. Yeah, any of those.
And then what did you say past that, past 2 service lines?
It's an additional $250 for every additional service.
I see.
We don't have any setup fees. The only other thing outside of the monthly cost, which transparently, the monthly cost is very justifiable considering that for any service line, it's going to be less than 1 patient extra in addition to what you're already getting. And it can't get you less booked appointments. It can only get you more. So what I always say is this: when you're going through and picking a service, I wouldn't be too committed to one service versus another, because transparently, most people sign on and they put 2 services in, and then all of a sudden they're now running 6 or 7 different services with us. So it's kind of, once you get used to it, you're going to be like, oh shit, I want this for everything. Sorry for cussing. But that's literally how everybody is. Every time it does not blow me. They'll only have 1 service and they're like, I'm running ads. I'm spending $5,000 a month, and we run ads for other people too, right? So we'll have clients that come in. We just had a guy the other day who's running a decomp campaign. He said it was going, he's with whatever other company. He wanted to switch over to us, but he had 1,300 old patients that he wanted to load into our system. And I was like, well, you don't want it just to be like a leads that I never contacted solution. You really want new people coming in so that it can get them in real time too. And he was like, okay. And he went and signed up for decompression ads too, which is something that we do, but not relevant to the conversation. But yeah, so almost everybody that's, yeah, go for it.
Do you think, so we have 3 virtual assistants. Do you think this is to replace the virtual assistants, or do you think this is in addition to the virtual assistants?
Okay. So I'm gonna give you a little story about virtual assistants. I'm gonna say replace, okay? Or maybe not remove them entirely, like they're out of a job, but definitely reallocate them towards something that might be more productive, or they can manually intervene when they see a certain thing happen, right? So for example, they may still call to confirm the appointment after they've already had the full-fledged conversation, but now they're able to do other things because they're not having to sit there and text people back and forth. And transparently, while we've been sitting here talking, I texted my robot twice, and I texted and said, hey, I want to book an appointment. It said, absolutely, let me grab you the link. And then I said, I love IV therapy. And it said, that's awesome to hear. IV therapy is amazing. Are there specific benefits that you're trying to achieve with this, with our treatment, right? I've given it no North Star. I've given it no contextual information. My backstory on this is, for my contouring program, like I said, we have a lot of leads. I had a small army, about 25 people, acting as a call center and also doing the texting portion to it. Honestly, the tough thing is if you have a VA leave, your entire business is gone. If you have your good caller or you have your good VA, they're gone. And all of a sudden, you now have to retrain somebody from top to bottom. Our system, as it books you more appointments for any service line, and it tracks it independently. So decompression versus neuropathy versus IV versus chiro care, whatever it is. It learns based upon the odds that someone went and booked an appointment. So in the future, the messages that it send are even more laser focused specifically to what you're looking to do. So long story short, I had my team of, it was between 25 and 30 people, and it fluctuated because people come and go, especially at 30 staff members, right? Their output was 6% of what my texting robot did with no voice engagement. Our show rates are higher. Our booked appointment rates are higher. Like I said, our biggest moneymaker right now for my team as a performance model marketing group, which is all that we do practically. About 65% of our daily revenue comes from texting engagement, which is substantial. Yeah.
Okay.
So. Yeah.
Thank you.
Vanessa.
For sure.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So you said it would basically replace kind of the virtual assistant. Would it also learn from the conversations that we're having manually? Would it be able to?
Yes, because it tracks every message in and every message out. And then if you send a manual message, it tags it or flags it as manual in the conversation log. So for example, what would be a good contextual example for this? So let's say I have a lead submits their info and my system goes back and forth with it, and then you decide to override it and pause my robot. It knows about what you're sending to that person, right? And it just adds it into the conversation log so that, let's say, if it's the weekend and you set it to pause for 24 hours and it re-engages them on a Saturday afternoon because whatever you sent to them didn't get them to book, it'll read that last message that you sent them. Hey, I know you were trying to book an appointment. I saw that you didn't grab a time yet. Would you do me shoot me a text back, let me know if you have any other questions. It'll automatically re-engage and then add that into the conversation history too. Okay. So yes, it will, to answer your question, but I'm just trying to give you a more comprehensive, it's like, once again, each step is like really 7 to 10 steps. So there's more than just a yes, no. Yeah.
All right.
However,
Vanessa, oh, sorry.
However, when you use it, sorry, that's the last thing. When you use it, all you have to do is just, it's like, I always explain it to people like this. Imagine you have your lead come in, it automatically does it for you. You don't have to touch a thing. It'll just go back and forth. If you have an old list of people, imagine you have 1,000 dominoes lined up. All you need to do is just knock the first one over. It takes 30 seconds to engage the entire list, and then it does it all for you. So you can literally bulk message every single person on your list every single day with custom messages, top to bottom, as long as you have permission and consent to market to them, which I'm going to assume you do, right? You've gotten the lead through marketing, or they're an old patient that wasn't sold, or you're trying to reactivate people, whatever it is, you load them in, you're good to go.
Is there a number amount of people that we're able to do this with, like for your services?
So just like the $250 extra a month, there's no contact limit at all. I don't like that. And the way our system works is only off of messages that our robot responds to. So the only time that we ever consider a message to be sent is when my robot sends a response to something that they've sent in. You get 50,000 responses per month before you ever hit anything. Transparently, you're never going to hit 50,000. I'm texting, once again, 10,000 plus people per day and 7 days a week, and I'm getting about 75,000 responses a month.
Okay.
Right, off of just one specific service line for a batch of people. So, the difference is our robot. When you have a conversation with someone, let me just show you this. I don't want to be like, oh, check out how many people are buying stuff from my team, but for the sake of an example, just to like validate this thought, this is our body contouring campaign. And we have a robo-texter tracker. So I'm going to show you a person from today that actually texted our robot. Body contouring is one of our biggest service lines that we have. Just because we have a lot of clients. That's one of our performance model programs. Hang on. Can you see my screen?
Mhm.
Okay, these are real patients, and you'll see when the leads were created. Okay. If I go in here, every message that was sent to them is fully automated. Okay, so this person, I'm just going to give you a little history. This is from someone in Weedsport, New York. Okay, this is they use a device called the Wellness Cocoon. Okay, so this person went in, and I know this is probably a little tiny. They went in and they submitted their info at 11:52. And then they went in and engaged, and then they ended up buying an hour later, about an hour later. Yeah, almost an hour to the minute later. And this person, actually, this is a really good example. I promise I'm not cherry picking. This is literally like pretty much right before the phone call. They were like, I'm interested in the exercise and dance class. And this is still sending our automated messages from before. And they're like, I think there's a mix up. We actually have body contouring treatments. No dancing or exercise required. Would you be interested in hearing more about how it helps? Awesome, here's how it helps. No, first time exploring body contouring, perfect. Super simple, you just lie down comfortably. Where do you want to be treated? On my stomach, stomach's a great area. Yes, please, would you like the link? Not only did they go in and pay the $37 that it mentions here, if you look at the transaction log, we actually got them to pay $164. Okay, I'm not cherry picking examples. I'm literally going to go to the next person on the list. This is 19 hours ago is the last message, so 5:22 p.m. This one here, they submitted their info on January 6th. Let's see, January 6th at 5:21. We re-engaged them, and then it looks like they went back in at 5:43. So just wondering if multiple sessions are required. Multiple sessions definitely not maximize results, but what's great is you can start with just one session to see how your body responds. Most people I work with see inch loss from their first treatment, which is why our $37 new patient special is perfect. Let's let you try it out and get a baseline result. And it's like, where do you want to target? Back and stomach. Those are our two most popular areas. This red light can target, multiple areas at once, blah, 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 blah. You can get extra sections as well if you want to get the momentum up. This person ended up paying, I think, only $37, right? So they booked and they paid. And this is for a totally different office in Missouri, Dr. Kyle Bowers, who's a client of ours for about 8 years. This is another example. This person submitted their info on the 6th at 4 p.m. Our robot re-engaged them. It looks like sorry, I'm having to move my note taker thing around a little bit. So it followed up. Yes, I'd like to make an appointment. Hey, super, super great. You want me to send you the link? Yes. We asked a question. No, I haven't tried it. You're in for a treat then. Where do you want to target? My stomach. Once again, a lot of these patterns are very similar because everyone has the same objections. Follow-up is follow-up. It's not rocket science, right? So think about this application in something like an IV campaign or something like a neuropathy campaign where people are constantly expressing concerns. And you'll notice here that there are 5,089. So I said 5,000 people had bought in the past 90 days, but it's almost 5,100. But once again, people get added to it every day. Stomach area is fine. Would you like me to explain how the treatment works? Or would you like me just to send you the link? I'll send payment, but can you explain it to me? Awesome. Once you complete the payment, someone from our scheduling team reaches out to you. She then completed the payment and said, I'll call and make my appointment for tomorrow.
This is awesome.
I'm sorry?
No, this is awesome.
Yeah, this is another guy in Texas. This actually, Tucker, he just signed up for a decompression one with us. So he runs. This is the guy actually that I gave the example of that did a decompression campaign with another company. It sucked and switched over to us. And so we do his texting for his appointment booking. And we boosted his numbers by 45% for his decompression campaign. And then we also did the contact booking here too. So for his contouring. So January 6th, 223, it followed up with them, and then it got them to re-engage. Once again, a lot of this stuff isn't rocket science, right? So where are y'all located? immediately responds, here's the address. Have you been looking into it? Something new, I just heard about it. Is it all over? It's pretty exciting. It is all over. No surgery, no downtime. People choose to target their problem areas, but it does work on multiple areas. Which areas are we thinking about targeting? Boom, they give us exactly what we want. These are our pre-qualifying questions in case you guys aren't connecting the dots on that. Do you offer appointments for 3:30 or later? We do not allow them to schedule directly through it because the office does this. This is just a performance model for us to collect the payment. So this specific model for him does not book. That's per his request. So we don't do the scheduling directly.
Andrew, can we get to a couple of the questions? We have
sure.
questions here.
Sorry.
Dr. Brad, what was your question?
A couple of quick questions. What's the best way to contact you to initiate or get going?
You can just drop me an email, Andrew@ProfitZombie. I'll send it in the chat.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. Next question is, if we have our own high-level account or CRM, is this going to integrate in any way, or do we continue with our old one and maintain whatever we're doing with that, or do we just try to dump everything now into this account?
Can I answer your question with a question?
Sure.
So my question back to you would be, is that specific to your marketing company? Like I'm running ads with company A and they gave me a high level account. Can I have it plug into that account? Is that what you're asking, or you use high level internally for your entire office?
Internal.
Gotcha. So I would recommend keeping it separate so that you have separation of assets. We would set up an entire shell account for you, and then you could just drop all of your leads from all of your different marketing efforts in. When they book, they'll book into your official high level. My summary will be passed over into your high level. So if you never even want to look at our side, you don't have to, because you get all the notes from the conversation in your system.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Next question is service centers, personal injury. Do you guys do much personal injury service center?
We can build a custom one out for you. We don't have anybody that does personal injury right now. It takes about 30 minutes to build one out as custom. Typically, we charge a setup for it, but I wouldn't charge a setup for it because I would just add it in my service offering, to be honest. What I'm doing, I just want to build as many as I can. It takes me very little time to build it out. We already have the framework established for it. So it's not like I have to reinvent the whole wheel. I have a script that we load in. I ask you 10 questions. We fill in the blanks. I hit send. It generates me an entire new robot specific to the service. So if you wanted to do something like that, I'd hook it up for free. I wouldn't charge you a setup for it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And one more question. Sorry to monopolize, sure. But and I jumped in a half hour late, so I apologize if you already hit on this. But in your campaigns, are you doing anything with websites to like with a different marketing plan or a different fee for service or whatever? But is any of the marketing that you're doing requiring interaction on our websites?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No. Yeah. Are you saying like, so we have two service lines, right? So like number one, we do lead gen for people. That's not really what we're talking about, but we do. With that being said, we'll send them somewhere else. We build custom pages for stuff like that. However, if you're just talking about the automated texting, like if someone comes into your system, we can have it ported into our system from wherever. So literally any system that you have, any website, any page, any instant form Facebook ads, you have 5 other marketing companies, they all can go into one system.
Okay.
Yeah. It's designed to be stupid simple. I really never even want to have you log into our software. This is not something that you should even ever log into. And transparently in the service space, I mean, I know probably none of you know this, but like my team, we have like over 1,000 offices that we work with right now. We're a really big team. And it's for performance-based Facebook ads. That's what our bread and butter is. I have made more money off of my texting robot just by texting leads on a performance basis than I have on selling marketing programs to offices like yourself. It is so unfreaking real how profitable it is from all sides. So my goal, honestly, I don't want to try and convert you from your marketing company. Let me just get you kick-ass results. And if you want to transfer over to us, be my guest. I know we're going to do better than anybody else, but we also cost more, you know? So, and that's a totally different service line that we have. But transparently, coming from the service delivery side where it's always, where are my leads? I'm not getting leads to show up. I'm not getting leads to book. We get people to show up and book all the time. We're getting people to pay money on the internet before they even know what the heck they're getting, which is insane, right? And nobody else does it. And what's funny is I had a conversation with somebody the other day that just had signed up for our program. It was our week 2 check-in. And they were like, I don't even have anything to talk to you about. And I was like, well, how's the robot doing? And they were like, the only thing that we've heard about the robot is that there are patients. We named their robot Michelle. They go, all we do is every single patient that calls and said that they're trying to talk to Michelle because they texted back and forth and they requested a time online and they just wanted to make sure they could come in for their appointment. The booked rates and the show rates are through the roof because the lead's hyper qualified. You know, it's just a very different experience. And honestly, I've not to make you guys out to sound bad, but like I'm on the other side of the agency side where I have clients come to me and they're like, I haven't gotten leads for 3 days. And I'm like, all right, dude, like I get it. However, it's very fun to have a conversation with an office where it's like, I don't really have any problems because there are no problems to be had because you're getting leads from other sources. And it's very therapeutic because I get to work with you guys and go, all right, all we have is booked appointments. All we have is people showing up. You have an entire sales guide on it, specifically how to pitch to this person based upon the information that we collected in the conversation. You already know what all their objections are going to be because we pre-qualified the shit out of them. You know, so
Do
yeah.
you have a percentage on increased revenue for offices that you've helped?
Do you what? I'm sorry, you cut out halfway through your sentence.
Do you have a percentage of increased revenue, like of people you've helped before? Like
I don't, but what I'll tell you
Like,
is off of
last month they booked 50 and they signed with us and now we booked 250.
so kind of yes, but like pseudoscience numbers, okay? So number one is going to be my contouring. Like I said, I employed 25 to 30 people at any given moment for about a year and a half. They did 6 to 7% of the result that my texting robot's doing, and I dropped my overhead costs by about 95%. So that's one piece to it, which is just my own personal testimonial to my own. So it's why I built it in the first place.
Andrew, we have a couple more questions too before we hang out or we hang up. Dr. Aaron Miller and Bridget Decker has another question for you. So I just want to make sure we don't forget them.
I'm gonna say like one more thing. Tucker, the guy that I just pulled up that had that lead pay online, he was running a decompression campaign. He was canceling because the results sucked. We loaded his list of 1,000 patients in. He booked 55 new patients in 6 days. Full pre-qualified. I don't have direct numbers because I don't know what percent of people have converted as a sale. He started on the tail end of his marketing campaign, and he was just like, I just want to reactivate. I don't recommend that. Use it with existing marketing with new people that are coming in. So those are the only examples that I have quantifiably that I can explain here. So sorry, Bridget, hit me. You've been more than patient. Sorry.
Sorry, it was an accident. I don't have a question.
Okay, Dr. Miller.
Even better. Yeah.
If you want to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Gotcha.
Okay, so you said it can use other marketing can come into it, but what about because of that same platform, the same dashboard that you have, we have the same thing in our other ones.
Yep.
Does your software then read and see all the conversations we've had with those other people?
To a certain extent. Typically, you're either going to have booked them or not. So once again, you're only really going to be using our system to get those new people booked in the first place. So for example, let's say you had John Doe or John Smith, whatever, and he booked an appointment with you. That wouldn't be somebody that I would encourage you to add into our system. You would only be booking the people that have not booked an appointment. And transparently, if they had a conversation with you 3 months ago, they don't remember who you are. You might as well just load them in, give them a clean slate, and let my robot go to town on them. As odd as that sounds. Because transparently, we have people, and this sounds crazy, we do a 60-day follow-up process for any leads that we have. That's typically what we recommend. A message every day for the first 30 days. 30 to 45 days, we do a message every 2 days with a 12-hour delay on the back end, so it ends up being 3 days. And then 45 to 60 is a 5-day gap. That way you're tapering off the longer the lead exists in the system. Transparently, if they don't respond after 30 days, let's be real, it's a needle in a haystack scenario. However, it only costs a penny to send a text message, so I'm going to invest 30 cents to possibly shit out on the other side a $1,000 patient. You know, I mean, that's just how my brain works. So I'm going to risk 30 cents, and 1 out of 300 people that I text is going to come in statistically, you know? So those are good odds for me.
Awesome. Any other questions before we wrap it up? Andrew, thank you so much. You brought a lot of value today. Any other questions? Go ahead, Vanessa. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I just want to confirm that so on the scheduling, so basically the bot is just getting the patients, pre-qualifying them and going through everything. They're paying online, and then we're being set to call and schedule. Is that right?
Well, so there are 2 models. Model number 1, you can require a payment. Model number 2, well, there are 3. Model number 1, you can require a payment, which I don't always encourage. Model number 2, you can have them give a payment if they want. And model number 3, it's our most popular. Honestly, most people request a day and a time. You get the conversation summary with a sales approach, and then you're going to call to confirm the appointment. And the patients are typically very excited, and they'll pay at that time. And the resistance to pay is much lower, and you get to build rapport over the phone through the confirmation, because you're still going to have to call them to talk to them anyway.
Okay.
So it reduces the friction between booking and actually walking through the front door.
Yeah, okay. Vanessa, why don't you share, how's your office been doing with the contour light since Andrew and his team took over?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Natasha. I would love to. So on the contour, we started it. It's probably been about 8 weeks ago now. And I can say just in the last few weeks, we've gotten about 30 new patients in the door, with probably, I would like to see it be a higher conversion rate, but I feel it's going to be going up in the next month or so. But I think this would be a great addition to have. I would take a lot more time off my hands by having to call patients later on in the day, and I can actually focus more on things going on in the clinic that need my attention. So I think it'd be really good.
And transparently, another really cool piece to the puzzle, right, is you could schedule a message to go out on Saturday morning at 8 a.m. When no one's there, but you know, everybody's sitting around their house, right?
Yeah.
Or 1 p.m. on a Sunday right after people get back from church, or Sunday night at 7:45 p.m. Your texting hours are 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., just so you guys know. So you could schedule a late night text to go out, send out 1,000 text messages at 7:45 p.m. on a Sunday. You know, everybody's sitting around on their sofa getting ready for the next week, and they're going to sit there and text you back. That's it.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
So awesome. Well, thank you so much. If you guys haven't put your email in, please do that right now. And then you guys got Andrew. He's Andrew at profitzombies.com. Thank you so much for your time here. Also want to plug our webinar for next week. If you haven't registered, make sure to do that. That's for R&D tax credits. If you're doing anything outside the box, Synexus, decompression, shockwave, soft wave, regenerative medicine, PRP, all of these good things, you may be entitled for a tax credit. So Andrew, thank you so much. Brought a lot of value. And then email is the best way to get in touch with you. Correct?
Yeah. Ping me with an email. If you have any questions, this is going to sound so ridiculous too. Cassandra, I see you're in this meeting. I need to actually have a phone call with you. That's so funny. Anyway, I just saw her name pop up. Yeah, if you want to talk, I'm more than happy to line out time. I'll send you over a link to my calendar. I'd love to talk with each and every one of you guys. And in fact, I can drop my calendar link in the chat as well for 30 minutes. And we'll just do a little touch base, see what services you guys have. If you want to add that in, that'd be awesome. And then I'll have Natasha's team. Maybe I'll just include that link in there, and then you guys can just load that in and maybe send it out. And anybody that wants to grab a time, I'll be around all week and beginning of next week. So feel free to just ping me with any questions you guys have. All right.
Very good. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thanks,
have a wonderful day.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.